The Boy Meets World rivalry is back. Brave New World was going to do something. Does that count? Not to drag, but will SAG make us zag our Oscar swag? We'll ask Darren Bragg. If you don't like Daredevil season 1, maybe you'll like the second one. Not my Batman. White Chicks 2. It's time. All of that and so much more coming up on News Dump.
Over at the box office, Brave New World won for a second straight weekend, but it is down from its first weekend a large percentage. It made $28.2 million. The Monkey opened up this past weekend at $14.5 million, 80% on Roddy T's from the critics, 61 from the audience, and a 62 on Meta. Paddington in Peru, $6.5 million. Dogman, almost 6, and Niza 2, $4.5 million this weekend.
Yeah, the Monkey kind of tricked us at first. Those early Rotten Tomatoes reviews were real good. Dual 85s, and the audience score has dropped drastically. It seems like it might be worth watching if you're into that. The director, Osgood Perkins, is the director from Long Legs from last year. So if you liked Long Legs, you'll probably like this one. I still actually haven't seen Long Legs, so I have no opinion on this matter.
News down. Speaking of Captain America Brave New World, director Julius Ona confirmed that the post-credit scene is teasing the Illuminati. So thank you for letting us know. And he also said that the group was going to appear in an early draft of the film. So once again, thank you for telling us. Thank you, not for showing us, not for having it in the movie, but thanks for telling us.
This is interesting, because I wonder what version of the movie would the Illuminati even have been necessary or worth being brought in. I know we're dealing with Tiamat and adamantium and that sort of celestial level type of stuff. It doesn't really necessitate the Illuminati popping in. Second to that, no. I did not get that the post-credit was alluding to the Illuminati. No. I thought it was alluding to incursions and how these worlds were going to be colliding into each other, which maybe does include the Illuminati, and maybe the Illuminati stopping that, as we see in the post-credit of the last Strange movie. But yeah, this just misses the mark, as the movie kind of did.
I think it would be funny if they brought the script to Feige with the Illuminati in the first draft. And he just reads it and goes, there's just too much shit in this, guys. We can't have everything in this movie. We still need to have this be a Captain America movie.
Right. That's why I'm trying to figure out, what was the end game of the Illuminati version of this movie?
No idea.
I don't understand it. So that maybe it was really early on. Maybe it was just talked about. Who knows? But once again, I did not pick up in that post-credit that they were talking about the Illuminati.
News down. Mac, what happened over at the SAG Awards?
Yes, the SAG Awards this past weekend. Kristen Bell hosted. I think she's hosted the last couple of years. I might be wrong about that. She did a rendition of Do You Want to Build a Snowman, except it was Do You Want to Be an Actor, with some really good pictures, visuals, lyric changes. So if you're interested in that, go check it out. Pretty good. Goo, the awards from the show. Conclave wins Best Motion Picture Cast, Best Ensemble. 6 of the last 10 winners of that award have gone on to win Best Picture at the Oscars, including Oppenheimer last year. Goo, you have your hand raised.
Yes. On the other 4, was it one movie that just didn't? Actually, that doesn't make any sense. Never mind.
No,
fuck it.
Doesn't.
Nope.
Whatever you're going to ask.
Whatever I just strike it from the record never happened.
Demi Moore wins Best Actress for The Substance. 7 of the last 10 Best Actress winners have gone on to win the Oscar. Timothée Chalamet wins Best Actor for A Complete Unknown. A little bit of an upset last night or a couple nights ago. Goop, this is an odd note, at least for me. He becomes the youngest winner ever for SAG Best Actor at 29. It's not like he's 18 or 21. He's 29. It's nearly 30 years old. I don't know how that has happened. 8 of the last 10 winners of the SAG Best Actor Award went on to win the Oscar. So if you're looking for some juice for the Oscars this upcoming weekend, that might be a good bet for you. Best Supporting Actress and Actor are even more predictive. Last 9 out of 10 Best Supporting Actress winners have won the Oscar. Zoe Saldana's got that locked up. And 10 out of 10 of the last 10 Best Supporting Actor winners at the SAG Awards have won the Oscar. So Kieran Culkin will have that locked up. Television wise, Shogun won a bunch of shit once again, and Colin Farrell won for The Penguin.
I'm disappointed that Kristen Milioti lost, but once again, murderer's row of fucking contenders there.
Yeah.
Also, so I was trying to look up who the previous younger best male. Did you have that information or no?
No, I did not. I was just too stunned to even think that was a fun fact.
I feel like it might be Adrian Brody from when he won.
I don't know. It's just bizarre. Like, and I know SAG is more I don't know. Like 29 is not young. I was shocked by that.
I wish I was 29 again.
Same. You and me both. It would bring me back to pre-COVID.
Mac, with the SAG Awards, it usually, like you just said, it predicts the Oscars. So I will now ask you for what is happening with the odds over at DraftKings Sportsbook.
So heading into this weekend, your favor for Best Picture is Anora at -200, despite the fact that it lost Best Ensemble. So that's a real tight race there. Conclave is +225. Some pretty good juice there if you're looking for a nice bet right there. The Brutalist is not out of it at +600, but it does seem like it's down to Anora and Conclave. Best Actor, -230 for Adrian Brody. I hate that value. The fact that Chalamet just won and he's +150. If you're looking to put in a bet, you haven't put anything in, I would put a bet in on Chalamet right now.
And Chalamet has throughout this entire time being like, I want to be the best. I want to win this award. I'm going to push for this award. This campaign. Like, I didn't even really love the movie. I thought he was good in it. I thought he was better in Dune too. But the campaign that he has put on here, I have bet money on him.
Yep. I have a bet from a few months ago, and I'm happy to still have it. Best Actress, Demi Moore is at -250 up against Mikey Madison at +165. As much as I think Madison deserves it more, I feel like Moore's got this on lock, even at -250.
Yeah,
which is like I almost feel like if you got enough money, enough shekels, throw it on Demi Moore. I don't think Mikey Madison is going to win this. Like I said, Culkin and Saldana have those supporting awards locked up. Dune Part 2 is a lock for visual effects.
Yeah.
Cinematography, The Brutalist is the favorite right now, -340. But Nosferatu and Dune aren't dead. Nosferatu +350, Dune +550. Another sneaky bet there I like is Dune at 550 for that.
You mean when I took it at 250, I was a fucking idiot?
Production design is likely going to Wicked at -400, but Nosferatu's not dead there at +500. Wicked has costume design locked up. Substance has makeup and hairstyling locked up. And then the final race that's sort of up in the air is film editing. It's a 2-horse race between Conclave and Anora. Anora at +150, Conclave at -140. So if you're looking for anything to bet, I think the best bet heading into this weekend is Chalamet at +150 to win Best Actor. And that's great because I have Chalamet for Best Actor at +140 from like 3 months ago, right before the award cycle. So I still like my value there. I also bet Mikey Madison for Best Actress at -160. So bad value, number one. Number two, I don't think it's going to hit. I also had wagers on Wicked for Best Picture and Grande for Best Supporting. Those are both dead. Those are both far and away not going to happen.
And right now, my dumb bets are I had Best Picture, a complete unknown at +1,400 because every publication was saying it's now the favorite. And like, the value's too good. I can't let this go. I got to bet on it. I need to do it. I've made worse bets. Apparently, I haven't. Best Cinematography, I thought that maybe the whole AI thing might throw off The Brutalist, but Dune has actually gone further down. I got it at +250. I can throw that money away. And then I did take Best Actor Timmy Shales at +150 because of the campaign. But Mac, if I'm going to ask you right now, is there anything here that we have not bet on that I should take a look at?
No, I honestly think your best bet is maybe even doubling down on Chalamet. And
I've made worse bets.
Depending on your bankroll, maybe getting a hefty wager on Demi.
An infinite bankroll.
I don't mind it's bad value where you have it, +250 for Dune Best Cinematography. +550 is pretty good. I might toss a shekel on that.
News dump. Over the weekend, there was a rumor that an X-Men television series was in the works, but we've already been told no. Marvel execs, Brad Winderbaum. Oh, what are you waving your finger for, Mr. Matumbo?
That's the finger wag for no television series.
Oh, I thought you were telling me no, I was wrong. Like you had special information.
Matumboing the television series.
Marvel exec Brad Winderbaum says that they are now actively developing their first X-Men movie. This is the focus of the X-Men currently.
Yeah, we sort of touched on this last week or the week before, how Marvel wants to slowly drop in some of the X-Men so that when they get to the X-Men movie, they don't need 9, origin stories. They probably only need like 4 or 5.
Mm-hmm.
And I still think that's going to be their goal here.
News down. Daredevil Born Again Season 2 will release in 2026.
And the showrunner or whoever, I don't know exactly who said it, but someone's on record of saying hopefully season 3 in 27 and then season infinity after that. They're hoping to do a season every year. I would say don't get too big for your britches. Let's make sure it all makes sense in the context of the MCU. I know this is sort of adjacent and aside, but let's just focus on our next season or so.
Charlie Cox, who plays Daredevil, who plays Matt Murdock, said that he would rather see Daredevil join the Avengers than a return to the Defenders in the MCU.
I agree, but he's also going to he's so low level, like Avengers wise, like he's going to have to be someone's sidekick, or he's going to he can't fly the plane. He's blind, he can't even do the Black Widow.
No, you can get a feel for it. But also, why would he be like, yeah, I want to join those fucking low-level scum? No, I want to be with the big boys. I
agree. I want to
be in the billion-dollar movies, not another Netflix.
He's a quad player. That's what he is. He's not quite major league ready, but he's too good for AAA. It just is what it is.
I'd take him off the end of the bench. He's a nice little Brock Holt.
Keep him teamed up with Spider-Man. I think that's the play,
absolutely.
Right?
Yeah. News dump. Marvel says that there are plans for Moon Knight to return to the MCU. This is from @comicbook. Likely not in a Moon Knight season 2, though.
Yeah, I didn't mind Moon Knight season 1. I don't know. I don't love the character. I don't hate the character. I guess I'd have to see how he would fit in with other characters, because it is such a bizarre and unique character. So that's a I don't know. I have no optimism for it, but I'm not mad about it.
News dump. Ammon's juicy six pack. Ammon's juicy six pack. Iman Vellani revealed her favorite MCU films.
She plays Miss Marvel.
Ms. Marvel. She said Iron Man, Avengers, Thor Ragnarok, Avengers Endgame, Guardians of the Galaxy, and Captain America: The Winter Soldier.
Great picks, I think, except for Avengers. Those are actually Avengers and Iron Man. Except for Iron Man, I think those are all in my top 12. Avengers might be like 12th on my list or 10th. Surprised no Infinity War in there. I don't know how that didn't quite make the cut, but
I mean, that's 3 of my top 4, 5 of my top 6. Like that, these are all great movies.
She's got 3 of my top 6, so we got a good amount there. And once again, the top 15 or 18 of the MCU is so good that you're going to have people with different top 6s. So it's a good list. That's for sure.
Let me do a quick ollie, very fast here.
Yeah.
Paul Rudd revealed. Was that Pop Shove It?
Shove It. Yeah.
Paul Rudd revealed his favorite MCU films. He said Thor Ragnarok and Captain America: Winter Soldier.
Yeah, I think the 3, if you're talking less than Avengers level and movies that are the most unique within the MCU, it's Ragnarok, Winter Soldier, and Guardians. Those are the 3 that I'm like, yeah, if someone says this is their favorite, totally makes sense to me, because it's a lot of what makes the MCU the best, but it's also so different from everything else we've seen.
I also think with these 2 movies, like if you are recommending one MCU movie to someone that has seen no MCU movies, these would be 2 of like the 4 that I would say. Like this, Guardians, and then maybe like something that needs no introduction to other stuff.
Ant-Man, I think, is a good like introductory one too.
Yeah, that's not bad. But Paul Rudd probably can't say that. I like Ant-Man, Ant-Man 2, Ant-Man 3. What other Avengers movies are my in? Civil War.
He should have said the 3 Ant-Man movies and Mac and Me.
You should have just said Mac and Me. If Conan doesn't do a Mac and Me joke this weekend at the Oscars,
it'd be real niche.
He's lost his touch. News up. DC Studios co-heads James Gunn and Peter Safran have confirmed that Robert Pattinson's Caped Crusader is not the DCU's Batman, saying, "We love him, but we've got to introduce a Batman into the DCU. This is via Collider."
Best news of the week, Goo.
Yeah.
Keep it separate, keep it its own thing, and potentially give us two great versions of the character. I think this is a win-win for everyone.
Oh, I finally have dug myself into Harley Quinn season 5. Even though our ex-friend Nick Fryer didn't even tell me that the season started.
Our podcast rival, Nick Fryer.
Yeah, fuck TLDR. Those guys suck. But I'm on episode 5 of Harley Quinn. You can watch it on Max. And I've liked this season. Harley and Poison Ivy moved to Metropolis, so now it's more Superman jokes. But I'm on episode 5, and I'm finally getting some good hearty laughs in.
Ah, all right. How many episodes of the season? 8, 10?
It's usually 10. I didn't even look.
Okay. Yeah.
I figured out a way. I'm going to watch this. Then I'm going to watch Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. Then I'm going to watch Andor.
Ooh. You got to start Andor.
I've seen 3 episodes. I'd probably have to restart it. I haven't watched it in a couple of years.
Yeah.
But we actually just got a trailer for that today, and I forgot to watch it. Oh, shit.
Andor season 2?
Andor season 2.
You haven't watched Andor season 1. How would you want to talk about Andor season 2?
It's coming out in April.
Okay. All right.
I'm going to watch it. Everyone stop messaging me and stop calling me dickhead.
The only way I'm going to watch it is if you watch season 1, tell me it's that great, and then like get into season 2 and you're like, all right, we're going to have to talk about it.
Okay, maybe. So I'll finish Harley Quinn season 5. Then maybe I'll do Andor first, then Spider-Man, so I can let you know what's going on.
Yeah, but that might be months from now.
That's a good point. Because I still need to watch that boring show, White Lotus. I'm 1 episode into season 3.
Why do you need to watch White Lotus?
Me and my wife watch it. My wife?
So watching Severance? That's taking up 50 minutes of your Sunday night.
We don't even have Severance on here. What a horny episode of Severance, right?
Horniest episode of legit television in a long time. I was cheering left and right. What a time to be like, fucking Mark S. Looney. Fucking savage. Dylan G. Savage.
It is an hour of fucking and talking about sex. That's all it is.
Great. And yet still a fantastic episode of television. Like aside from the sex.
News dump. James Watkins is set to direct Clayface, and also it has been confirmed that it is in the actual DC universe, not a part of Battinson's universe. This is via The Hollywood Reporter, and he has previously directed Speak No Evil, Eden Lake, and The Take. Those rhyme.
I'm hoping for the best for this one, Goo. Hoping for the best.
I love the character. And then I'm always reminded while watching Harley Quinn of how goofy they made the character on that show. And I'm like, let's
they introduced the character in Creature Commandos.
Oh,
so we have got our introduction already. So if you should watch Creature Commandos, I guess.
Should I put that before Andor, after Andor, or after Spider-Man?
You should just watch them all. No, don't watch any of them in a row. Just keep jumping around to each.
I'm making my queue right now, and I actually thought about that earlier. I'm like, what if I watch like one show of this on Mondays, something on Tuesdays, something on, and like make it a whole weekly thing?
I like that for you.
Give me something to look forward to in my amazing life.
Your mundane existence.
Come on, man. I'm right here. News dump. Jason Momoa will reportedly return as Duncan Idaho in Dune 3. This is via the In Schneider? Sure.
The In Snyder, like as in the insider.
I always add that little in there.
I don't know the rules to anything in the Duneverse, so sure, why not?
I don't know the rules to life or death, even in real life.
He wasn't in
that way.
He wasn't in Dune 2, right?
No, he died in Dune 1.
Yeah, so I don't know. Whatever.
Be a Force ghost.
Probably what he's going to be.
They have those in Dune, right?
I'm sure.
News dump. James Cameron said that Avatar Fire and Ash starts with a title card and says no generative AI was used in the making of this movie.
This is just problematic to me, Goo, in the sense that, first of all, people think that they have to put this, around their movies. I don't fucking care. But number two, the fact that you have to specify that it's generative AI means that you have used AI.
Some kind of AI, right?
Generative AI. So then you're almost digging your own grave there. So just don't even acknowledge it altogether.
I question though, did James Cameron, did he invent AI?
He may have. Him and Al Gore.
Al Gore, Terminator 2, am I right?
Yeah, there you go.
Skynet, it's falling on us. Yeah, he also said the feedback that they've gotten on that movie is it's definitely the most emotional and maybe the best of the three so far. I tried to think back to the first two movies, though. Was there anything emotional in those movies? Have you seen the second one yet?
I unfortunately have seen the second one. And unfortunately, I didn't hate it. Goo.
Did someone die in the second one?
I think one of the young kids dies, maybe? Or is that...
That might... Oh, the brother, right? Are we spoiling the movie?
Because he's got like three kids now in the second one.
And one of them gets kaput.
I think. But I might be wrong.
I really forget.
He might have just been injured. I don't know. I'm not sure.
There's whales in that movie.
There is. Yeah.
That's what I remember it for. I was forced to wear 3D glasses and there were whales.
Did you wear 3D glasses?
I had to. It was a 3D movie. I'm not going to sit there. News dump. Marlon Wayans said on Good Morning America that it is time for a White Chicks 2.
Nope. Sure isn't. Never will be. Never again will that make sense. Didn't make sense then. It just happened to work.
I can only count on my hand so many times the amount of times that I have come home from work or doing something and my wife is on the couch watching White Chicks.
I just don't know how you could conceivably make a White Chicks 2 and make it even remotely as good. And that's the first one's not even good. Remotely as like relevant as the first one became. You know, it's just leave it alone. Leave it alone.
I mean, they really fell off with Little Man when they made Marlon Wayans the baby.
You know what they should do is just jump races. Do like Spanish Chicks. It's the sequel to White Chicks.
See, now that's something there is,
They're like undercover in all sorts of different scenarios.
I don't think you're allowed to do that.
Well, maybe not. I don't know.
News dump. And finally, Leonardo DiCaprio is reportedly in talks to play Evel Knievel in a biopic. This is via Puck News. I thought maybe that was a hockey website or a Midsummer's Night Dream newsletter. I didn't know. Directed by Damien Chazelle. So maybe it is a Midsummer's Night's Dream newsletter. And it focuses on his famous Snake River jump. Filming begins this summer.
Sure, whatever. I couldn't care less about this until I see the trailer of Leo, and then I'm going to probably be like,
oh, so yeah, you're going to be so into this movie. What are you talking about?
But right now, I could care less about it.
I hate this movie. And then you see it, you're like, oh my God.
I don't know, but like, what's the name of the movie? First Man with him and Gosling? It wasn't that good.
Was Leo in that movie? Leo wasn't in that movie, was he?
No, Damien Chazelle directed
Damien Chazelle. No, I don't like Damien Chazelle. Damien Chazelle is, wasn't he La La Land?
La La Land, yeah.
Is this going to be a musical?
But then he also did Whiplash too, didn't he?
Oh, he did, and that movie's great.
Yeah.
Evel Knievel. It rhymes, so you can sing it anywhere.
Sure.
News dump. Over at one of our sister iHeart podcasts, about the same popularity as what we have over here on Pod Meets World, they finally, after hundreds of episodes, I assume, had Maitland Ward on the show as they are now diving into season 6 of Boy Meets World. Pod Meets World is a podcast. Danielle Fishel, Will Friedle, and it's Sean Hunter, Ryder Strong.
Yeah, so they've been doing a rewatch series with 3 of the 4 stars of that show. I've never really got into it, but I know you kind of pick it up and put it down.
I've listened to a good amount of the episodes. I'll see who the guest is. I listened to a decent amount of their seasons 2 through 4. Those are my favorite Boy Meets World seasons. Although now getting into the college years, I did like the goofiness of the college years. So we'll see.
Yeah, and so in those college years, they introduce a character named Rachel who is living with Jack and Eric, right?
Yeah. Yep.
And
a love triangle.
She is played by the actress Maitland Ward, who's this tall redheaded woman. If you've been listening to this podcast for long enough, you know that Goo and I have been all over Maitland Ward's, I guess, descent into the pornographic universe, probably 10, 12 years ago. I don't know what year it was that she started, but it was news, and it might have been right around when we were kind of starting this podcast.
Too much loud kissing for my liking.
She's also big in like the cosplay world, but only because she shows a lot of skin, and that sort of goes hand in hand in the cosplay world. So essentially the premise of this is, and this is unbeknownst to me, I didn't really know that Danielle Fishel, aka Topanga, and Maitland Ward didn't really get along for the last 15 or so years. So the background story to this is that those two don't really get along. And Danielle is sort of the lead, the point for that podcast. She's sort of the one running things there.
She does the episode recap, and then she asks for opinion from Ryder and Will.
Yeah, and so they have not brought Maitland on until now that they're in season 6, which is sort of how they've been doing things for the whole run of the podcast, with a couple of exceptions. And I guess Maitland Ward has been like mad about that the whole time they've been doing this podcast. And I guess she's been mad for a decade plus, because she sent Topanga a Facebook DM over a decade ago that Topanga never responded to. And so what I'm getting from this is that Maitland Ward, as successful as she might have been and is in the pornographic world, she's like a little bitter that she's not able to like do more, I guess, for lack of a better term, legitimate things like this. And so it seems like she's
pretty legit.
It seems like she's like upset with them for like not making her a mainstay in this thing, and like not including her in more Boy Meets World things. And to that I say, no one gives a fuck about Rachel. The most interesting thing about Rachel is the actress that plays her became a porn star. That's the most interesting thing about her. And so I don't like, she just comes off as like jaded. She starts throwing shots. It gets personal. And it also seems pretty clear that Maitland Ward has never really listened to the podcast. And she's like, well, you guys are negative all the time. And they're like, no, not really. No, we're not. And so basically it just became Topanga versus Rachel for 15 minutes, with the other two kind of chiming in here and there. My major notes here from the back and forth. Maitland Ward in a DM or a text to Danielle Fishel said she wanted to hold off this convo about their relationship until the podcast episode to quote unquote rock the stats. Now that's so bad it's good. I love that. We gotta hold off stuff to rock the stats. Secondly, those two arguing about Facebook and messaging and unfriending people, they sounded so old. So
incredibly old. And they are, let's be fair. And so aren't we now? We're pretty old.
And what do they got? They're probably got a decade on us, I'm guessing.
Yeah, I think Maitland at one point said she was 47.
Okay, yeah, so almost exactly 10 years older than us.
Yeah.
Let me look up Topanga. I'm gonna best guess Topanga is like 43.
I would say that if you want to listen to this audio, skip the first hour. And then it seemed like out of nowhere, Danielle Fishel threw out the little comment of like, it's kind of funny how whenever there is a controversy with our show, TMZ just finds you.
Yeah, so that is the thing that kicks off the whole 15 or 20 minutes of bickering. It must have been something she had been wanting to ask the whole podcast. And it is a good point. Whenever there's something about Boy Meets World, somehow Maitland Ward ends up on TMZ. So clearly she's like calling into TMZ or hitting up whoever her contact is there. And Danielle Fishel is like, why is it that anytime something comes up, they talk to you? And so that's a good point. Topanga's 43. So,
nice.
And her birthday is a week before mine. We're both Tauruses. So that's real nice for us. And of course, famously, I took a photo with her about 7 years ago. What was that? 2018?
She also said that the entire podcast is just a show to bash Ben Savage and Michael Jacobs, which the show does take shots at Michael Jacobs.
Jacobs is the showrunner for you guys.
The showrunner from Boy Meets World. And she's, and Maitland Ward goes, this show made you famous. You guys shouldn't be able to say anything about it.
Well, no. So she's like, you guys should be bashing it as much as you are. And first of all, like the number one, we're not bashing it. We're just talking about our experiences. And number two, like clearly she's not listening to the podcast if that's the only thing she has to say. And I also love that like Topanga wouldn't let her off the hook She's like, no, really? Like, what are the bad things we've said? What have we said that's bad?
I've never heard them say anything bad about Ben.
Well, you guys know. And they're like, no, we don't. We just talk about our experiences and talk about how Ben doesn't text us back. Now, I think the overarching thing here that is super weird is that Ben Savage communicates with none of these people.
He wants nothing to do with them, it seems like.
And
he's a politician now, though.
Is he?
I think he's something in California. He either ran for Congress or he won. Okay. I don't know.
So he hopped back in on Girl Meets World with Danielle Fishel in 2013. And that ran for like 3 seasons, whatever. You and I met this whole cast minus Maitland Ward at Fan Expo
in possibly a living William Daniels.
It was 2018 or 2019. And Ben Savage was there, but notably, he was surely the least interested out of this whole thing. And I don't blame him. I guess if like he's only had success as Corey Matthews, and he got, I guess, sort of typecasted in that, or maybe he's just not a good actor. I don't know, but it seems like he's purposefully separated himself from these people, and that's fine. They've sort of dealt with it. They should be able to talk about it, though. You know, they're not putting him down. They can just talk about how Ben's like, yeah, I don't really care.
Will Friedle has said on the podcast that the only reason why the show went more than 1 season is because of Ben Savage. Ben Savage was like a young stand-up comedian when he was on the show, just ripping jokes.
Yeah, and I know maybe a lot of our audience doesn't care about this, but if you were a little white boy in the working class in the 90s, Boy Meets World was right up your alley, and that's you and I, so we grew up on this show. So maybe you didn't care about any of the last 10 minutes of what we just talked about, but it's relevant to Goo and I.
Also, if you want to listen to it once again, jump an hour into the Pod Meets World podcast and then listen to like 20 minutes. You don't need to listen to the first hour.
I jumped in at like 110 and it was just after she had asked her about the TMZ stuff. So jump in at like 108 or 109.
Although I do like Will Friedle asking her about the process of getting into a scene for porn.
Which is like, there are certainly people that are tuning into that episode interested in that sort of stuff, no doubt.
News up.